Hey everybody, thanks for coming fishing with me today. It is summertime. It is hot. You can see my lure coming down right there. Bottom dot is a jig, top dot is a weight. And there's the fish we're going after. It's summer. It was like 94 degrees on this day. Watch him coming right over this fish. Here he comes, look, he's moving down. He's gonna come up and ambush. So they go down and then they look up and then they do their jump. Boy, you know it. Whenever they do that, if they trail behind it, it's a good crappie. If they trail behind it a lot of times and they don't go down, you never know if they're going to commit or not. But when they go down like that and make that little arc come back up, they're about to slam it. But this is summertime. It was so hot out here today. Thankfully, it was windy, so it made it. I'm drifting right over this one. There, he did the same thing. He didn't do much of an arc, but he went down and jumped on it. But it was really windy today, and normally I complain about that because it'll blow me around. But today, when it was like 94 degrees, yeah, I was okay with the wind today. It made it tolerable. That's a big fish. Look at that joker. I probably should have netted him. That's a big fish.
13-inch crappie.
13-inch. Yeah, that's a good one. I definitely should have netted that one. But the fish in the summer is by far the hardest time of year for me to catch crappie. Like I have an easy time every other time of the year now, but summer is still, it's never really a guaranteed good day for me in the summer. I have a lot of brush piles that are great. I know where the fish like to hang out in the flats and by the timber. But from day to day, the fish are different. So today it was great. They were biting. They were, I still had to hunt. There were a lot of inactive fish, but I'd say 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 was active today. That's not always true. Some days I'll cast on 10 fish and I won't get a bite. Some days it's 1 in 15. Those are rough. And it's, oh, that one jumped on it. But it's especially rough in the summer because the fish scatter so much. So in the wintertime, if 1 in 10 or 1 in 15 is biting, it's okay because you're going to be on piles loaded down with 100 crappie. So you're still going to catch a bunch off each pile. But in the summer like this, you're going to find 1 or 2 here, 1 or 2 there. And it may be 5 minutes between each spot. So it makes it much more challenging in the summer to find the fish and to get the active fish. The winning strategy usually for me is hopping from brush pile to brush pile. You can just barely see that fish trailing it. There he is. I wasn't quite lined up right there when we saw him. And I'll tell you guys, it's a tiny fish. I would not have been able to stay lined up today in this wind without using that foot fisher. So you see my transducer pole in front of me. I have it hooked up to this little gadget that lets me turn it with my foot. So you can see it moving back and forth constantly as I'm adjusting. As the boat moves in the wind or as I cast a little differently, I can move it just by sliding my foot up and down. I don't fish without that thing now. And look, this one didn't follow at first. You see him? Then he came off and got it. That was a little fish though, another tiny one. But on windy days, having that foot control for my transducer pole, using that foot fisher is outstanding. It's great. I just don't fish without it now. But this little spot, I probably should have given up on this spot. This is where I caught that small one, and then I came back over to it trying to get that bigger fish, but I did not get the bigger fish. I kept catching little ones that would dart out of here, and that's what this is too. It's another small one. But yeah, summertime for me, it's always just inconsistent. Like I'm not gonna lie to you guys. There's days I come out here and I catch maybe 2 or 3 crappie the whole day, and I'll spend 6 hours in the water and not have much to show for it. And not that I didn't find the fish. I've seen 200 fish on the screen that day. I got 3 in the boat. That's how it is some days. But today was a good one. It was really windy right before a storm was coming in, and I was hoping that was going to be a good time to fish. And that's what my grandparents always said. Fish right before the storm and you'll catch more, and I think there's something to that. Oh, and look, man, I really cast out there for that one. There's a lot of fish on top of this. Look at them. Probably 4 or 5. Yeah. Oh, that one came up aggressive, but he didn't get it. He just scared his buddy off. He was aggressive. He's moving. Oh, he's jumping out of the water. Look at that. That is a, yeah, that was an aggressive crappie right there. Really aggressive. But it was a really good day in the water. Normally summer fishing is kind of miserable. You know, I'm just such a fishing nut that I'm going to do it anyway, no matter what the temp is. I'll just put on all my gear and try to keep myself shaded and cool and get out there. One of the good things about fishing on a pontoon boat now is, oh look, that's a big fish. That he was not okay. That's not a crappie. You see how he's moving? I don't think that's a crappie. I think that's catfish. I just happened to catch him when he was moving around, coming by. We just happened to get this fish. I think this is the catfish. I caught a few of those today. But the good thing about the pontoon boat now, on days like this when it's super duper hot, you know, you can just go take a dip in the back and this catfish. Take a dip in the back and then climb up the ladder to cool off, and it'll keep you cool for a little while as you dry out. Yeah, that's a big one. He was 40 feet away from the boat too. The bad thing with these windy days, so I said wind's usually not my friend, but I was real happy about it today because it was so hot. But the bad thing about the wind is it increases the pole slap noise, and so I had to start setting up much further from these fish. So that's why I'm casting out 40 feet away from the boat. Is, yeah, as I would get, you know, 20 feet, 25 feet, 30 feet away from them, you could start seeing them move away, get spooked. And whenever they get spooked, they generally don't bite as readily. So, oh, this is, I think this is, yeah, okay. So I missed this fish. I stayed after this fish for a while, and you guys can't, I didn't put it in here. I missed my cast like half a dozen times. The wind was blowing so hard that, you know, I wasn't able to make my cast accurately a few times. So I spent like 15 minutes to catch this one fish. So I missed 2 hook sets on him, and I missed probably a dozen casts trying to get it back to him because he was moving a lot. Like I was chasing after him, and he was moving left and right. And I finally got one to him, and we get him this time. And it's not a particularly big fish or special fish, but I was, you know, I wasn't gonna let him go because he was an active fish, and so I was convinced I could get a jig to him eventually, and I did right here. But that's the challenge in the summer. That's a challenge too. Is the fish are moving constantly on the go. There it is, just a normal 10 or probably a 10-inch crappie that I spent 15 minutes catching. But I didn't give up on him. But the fish move so much usually in the summer, so by the time you see them, you got 20, 30 seconds to get your jig to them before they're going to move. And so some days, you know, if it's not windy, that's not too bad. But on these days where the wind is gusting and changing directions and the boat's shifting around, it gets much harder for me anyway. I'm not really I'm a marksman with my casting. I've gotten better over the years, but still not where I want to be. Oh, look at that. That one's pretty close. Almost right under the boat. Most of the crappie weren't doing that. This may not be a crappie. I don't know. Most of the crappie were not getting that close to the boat. I can't remember if this is the yeah,
Striper.
That's the striper. That's why. They do like noise. You know, for striped bass fishing, that's a hybrid striped bass, a cross between a white bass and a striped bass. But they do like noise. They actually sell devices called thumpers that you can use in your boat that make a lot of racket, like a rhythmic thumping noise. Ooh, he got on it. He jumped on it from pretty far, and then I was very slow on that hook set. My goodness. I'm surprised he stayed hooked up. That was maybe that was a 2-second delay. That's pretty bad. But those stripers, they do like that thumping noise, and you can actually kind of imitate it by thumping on your boat with a paddle or a net, whatever you got, and it'll kind of draw them in. I don't know why it does, but I've seen it work out on some lakes before. Guys will use those thumpers. I see them on Claiborne occasionally. This, I didn't see a fish here. I was just fishing brush, and so I was kind of bumping it along this brush. I'd seen fish in and out, but I got lucky here. It's because when I kind of was rocking around, but look, I just happened to have 2 big fish come up. And I'd seen a few of them swimming around this brush. That's a big fish right there, though. Yeah, this is out closer to the main channel. I was kind of moving around today because it was getting close time to go, and I wanted to get my last 2 big fish because I had 2 more before I was going to hit 7 big ones. I wanted to get the last 2 big ones, so I came out here to the deeper water where there were fewer fish but much bigger fish were out here. Yeah, that's a big one there, really big. It's probably a 13-inch crappie, maybe 14. And out here right on the edge of the channel seem to be producing the quality fish, just not as many, but the big ones were right out here. Look at that, yeah. Oh, you see those shad? They split apart whenever that fish came up through them. They did not want to get eaten. This is the last one right here. So this was the last of the big fish, and after I get number 7, I usually call it a day, because it hurts something inside me to throw these fish back. So I usually just, goodness, that's a big fish. Y'all. In the middle of July, too. Summer used to be the time I'd kind of put the poles up or go brim fishing or catfishing, but I do still try crappie occasionally. And it pays off on days like this. Well, I hope y'all had fun watching. I had fun making this one. I'll be putting out some more soon. I appreciate y'all. Bye, everybody.